Hello everybody, welcome to Short Shot Archery, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that all beginners should keep in mind when starting archery and getting into that tournament scene and things like that. So some of these may not be for the very beginner unless you're looking ahead to maybe doing more things in archery, like going to your first tournament and things like that. So let's start off with number 1. Real quick before we start this top 10, I do want to just say that shortshotarchery.org has a new forum built into the website. So if you would, please go and check that out. I'd love to have feedback on it. I'm trying to expand into that. Yes, there is other forums out there, but I feel like this community itself needs its own forum. I'm open to any country, it doesn't matter. So please check that out. And now on to our top 10. So number 1, drawing too much weight. It seems to be a problem with some people. I understand it takes some time getting used to a new set of limbs, especially if you go up in weight. But there's no reason to go up 10 pounds worth of weight and then try to go and shoot a tournament. You're going to hurt yourself. You are not going to enjoy the result that you're going to get from that tournament. Odds are you probably need to change arrows too. So now you're shooting a bow that's too heavy for you with untuned arrows, and your whole body is having a problem because 10 pounds is a lot. So if you're going to be going to your first tournament, don't change your weight. And if you are, do it in small increments, like 2 pounds at a time. There's no point to struggle. And I mean by struggling is, you're not drawing back the bow nice and easy. If you're having a hard time holding the bow in the correct position, then your bow's probably too heavy for you. So, number 2, overextending. I feel that a lot of archers overextend too much. And what I mean by this, instead of just, setting up their bow, drawing back, and, just having it, on their face, maybe not exactly like I do, but, easily putting it, to their face, a string to their nose, their chin, their hand under their chin, a nice strong anchor. They're drawing back and they're stretching into the shot here. They're leaning back. You can tell. If you look at the top shooters in the world, and then you have to be realistic. Compare them to yourself, or just have that idea in your head, and maybe you're coaching a group of kids. If somebody's doing something like that, they're moving a lot in their shot, odds are they're probably overextending. And then, you're going to run into other problems with clearance issues where you're hitting your arm and things like that. This is archery. It's a very simple sport. So something to keep in mind. The overextending is going to cause you to get tired. And then that's not going to make your first tournament, or the tournaments you've been going to, this is going to make them as fun. The whole point of archery is you're having fun doing something you enjoy. So number 3, I feel people are too equipment oriented. There's been a lot of times now that I've gone to tournaments, not even recently, but over the last 5-10 years, and I'd have something newer. And people be like, oh, whoa, it's cool. It's cool to have new things. It's great to buy these things and, support the development of archery and the brands that are creating these products. But as somebody new to the sport, from my experience, I feel like you shouldn't go out and buy the most expensive bow you can afford, because you're just not going to get the result. Because in a way, the most important thing is to work on you, the shooter, the archer, your form, how you shoot that bow. Because if you don't have consistent form, you're going to have an issue regardless of how expensive the equipment is. You could have a $2,000 setup. Well, the guy that has good form could probably beat you with the $200 setup and the arrows that may not even be the right length. It all depends on what you're putting into it. If you like spending money, that's cool. But the purpose of this video is trying to give people ideas on how to make their first tournaments as successful as possible and to enjoy the sport of archery. So, number 4, don't blame the game. There's a lot of examples of this, and no names are being named, but from professional level all the way down to people that are just enjoying this sport just enjoying this sport recreationally. There's a lot of hate going to the game. See, if you're shooting archery, it's about shooting the bow. What you do to make you considered to be good at it is the game itself. So you have the sport of archery, shooting that arrow down to whatever it is, because it wasn't always a target. Especially in the early Olympics, they were shooting at things that you wouldn't consider shooting at, I think they had stuffed birds and stuff. So besides that, it's just the game, and it's how you play the game. So if you're not doing well, don't blame the set system or the cumulative score, or why do we shoot 3 arrows indoors, or why do we have to shoot 6 arrows indoors, why is it 70 meters, this or that. And I understand everybody at a particular point in time is a little bit guilty. You do get frustrated, but the point is not to blame the game that you're shooting your bow in. It's to figure out what you need to do to be successful at the game you're playing, because there's a different game every time. You can go to one indoor event where you have to shoot a vertical 3-spot target for World Archery. Well, you could go to the Vegas shoot, and you could shoot a individual spot, 1 target with 3 arrows, or you can go and do a tri-spot, and it's got the triangle shape instead of the vertical 3-spot like the World Archery ones. So, that's indoor archery, but it's 3 different, games. Yes, you're all going for the same score, but, they should all be practiced. The same thing goes for outdoors. There used to be 4 distances, 90, 70, 50, and 30 meters. Now we're down to just 70. Sometimes it's not bad to maybe try to find a local event that has all 4. That variety could be good for your 70 game. Or practicing more at 70 and working on your form could just help your 70 game. So, just something to keep in mind when you're going to your first tournament, or if you've been going to tournaments. Focus on your shot, and maybe that'll help you succeed at the game. Because, you just got to do archery. And whatever you're, scoring is the game. So, number 5. Shoot your own division. Now, there is situations where this doesn't quite apply, but it was probably a hard lesson to learn for me. Now, as a kid, I would shoot up. I would be like a cub, like a 13-year-old, whatever that age group is, and I would go and shoot against the adults, the 20+ range of people locally, because I had no competition to shoot against, and it was in a way not boring, but I wanted to be challenged. Well, getting that mindset early on and not having a lot of competition in my own age group caused me to put myself into a bad situation when I started shooting nationally. So when I started shooting national tournaments, I decided, I can shoot senior division as a junior. Also, at the time, I wasn't part of a JOAD, so I thought that I had to be part of a JOAD to be in junior division. Anyway, lessons learned. But by shooting senior division, I actually kicked myself out of really good opportunities as a junior. I probably would have made, some kind of top, 6 ranking or whatever in the U.S. for the junior age group. But instead, I put myself in the top 30 or so in the senior men's division. But you don't get anything for that. You don't get, additional support, information, things along those lines. So if you're, a young archer, Try to shoot your division when you go do things nationally, but locally, if you need competition and you want to challenge yourself, then I see no reason why you shouldn't try to shoot up, unless it's just crazy. Like if you've been practicing 30 meters outdoors, you shouldn't just go and jump to 70, because you're just going to lose arrows all day. It's something you need to practice. And then, when you go to a national shoot, make sure you drop back down to your correct distance and practice it at home before, going to that big national tournament. So number 6, this one drives me crazy. So, being prepared for a tournament is key. I understand there's a lot of things to keep track of. And in that case, please just make yourself a checklist. Like, I personally don't mind helping people. And I understand things get lost, you forget things, life happens. At the same point in time, somebody may not always be there for you. So, some little things to keep in mind when going to a tournament. Yes, I wrote them down. A pen for scoring and or marking arrows, because that's important. Arrow lube, because you never know what kind of targets you're going to get. Suntan lotion for those outdoor tournaments, or those people with really fair skin that tan via fluorescent light indoors. Water is something great. You don't need your energy drink, but water is going to help a lot. You should not go an entire tournament without drinking any water. These things run like 2 hours, especially if you're outside. Like, you're sweating and you're not drinking any water. That's crazy. You're asking for, dehydration and a lot of trouble, and there's no point. Bug spray. Bug spray is a good one. Why suffer? Spray yourself. You can always take a shower immediately when you get home if you're concerned with the chemicals they put in them. But hey, at least you're not getting bitten while on the line at full draw, because that is frustrating to be at full draw. Clicker's about to go off, and here you go with this big bug, chewing down on your bow arm or whatever, and then you flinch a little and it's all over. It's not even on the target anymore. And to round out that, snacks. Bring some kind of food. Of course, all of these things you can ask your fellow archer, and I'm sure they'll be willing to an extent to help you out, but you do have to be responsible, or your parents have to be responsible if you're a child. But yeah, so these are some things that immediately came to mind. I'm sure there's others, but yeah, just please be prepared for your tournament. All right, number something. We're on number 7 now, everybody. So this is the joining your local club or local JOAD, which could also be a club. But anyway, I didn't really have these opportunities where I live, so this isn't really coming from experience, but from what I've seen, well, I guess it's a little bit of experience. So what I've seen, the whole JOAD and local archery club world is kind of like is helpful. Sometimes it's not helpful, but for the most part, I feel like it is a helpful thing for new archers, because you have a sense of archery community. You have people to bounce ideas off of. Hopefully, they're good ideas. They're giving back to you. Besides that, you could then get a place to shoot, because not everybody is lucky enough to have even 20 meters in their, or 8, well, I guess you technically need more than 8, about 20 meters in their backyard to shoot just indoors. So I may have up to 90 at home here, but that is certainly not the standard in archery. So it's good to have that local club to go to, so you have somewhere to practice, have somewhere to maybe get some coaching from. The only downside I've seen is, like anything in life, sometimes there's a bit of drama, but you can get that anywhere. You get that at the grocery store. So, take it with I guess a grain of salt, if that's the correct term. So, on to the next one. So number 8 here kind of ties into number 7. Number 8 is coach. It may be something you want to look into, especially as a new archer. If you've been shooting for a while, maybe you don't care. That's cool. You don't really need a coach. Like you probably want to, especially if you're new at it, because you want to have a good concept of the equipment you're going to need, basic things like standing properly, not overdrawing your bow, not having too much weight. Hopefully that coach is taking care of all the things I've said before. What to bring to a tournament, what equipment to buy within reasonable expectations. So a coach, something you may want to look into.
Okay.
So, number 9, basic rules, dress code, format. It's kind of important to understand these things before going to your first shoot. Now, the local ones, yes, they're going to be a little more lenient. They always seem to be more lenient. But anything nationally is, you should definitely follow the rules. You should know what's going on. So, I would definitely recommend going to a local shoot. Maybe emailing them saying, hey, what's the dress code? Try to follow the rules from the start. So maybe you enjoy shooting in your jeans. Like I like shooting in jeans, but the problem is if I want to go to a USA Archery event, that's not in the rules. But if I go to a shoot like the Vegas shoot, that's allowed. So you need to go and read or email and inquire about where to go and read the dress codes for the particular tournament you want to attend, because that's important, and we are trying to convey a certain appeal. Sometimes the rules, yes, I agree, sometimes the rules are a little wonky, but I can see to an extent where they're trying to go. So just follow them. If you want to change them, then work on that once you understand them. But the other thing would be format. There's a lot of people that are really confused when they go to tournaments. Like, they only shoot, say, indoors. And then they're going outdoors and they're like, oh, there's 6 arrows now. It's like, wait, whoa. You need to know, like, what you're going to be doing. Like, there's people that'll show up to outdoor events that don't even have sight settings for the correct distance. You don't want to be finding that out on, the 2 practice or 3 practice rounds before official scoring. Or even, you don't even want to show up on the unofficial practice day or official practice day and try to figure out sight settings, unless it is the start of the season. Then I can't blame you, because people that live in the northern parts of especially the United States, it's very cold, especially in April or May. But please have an idea on how the tournament is laid out and ran before going. I think that pretty much wraps up that number. Number 10. Well, this one's really straightforward. It's pretty much what I've been doing this entire time while shooting this video. And if you guessed it, you are the winner. Yes, that is practice. Practice makes, perfect. If you practice before going to your tournament, with the correct format, possibly in the correct clothing, because you do want to be comfortable in the clothing you're wearing. Like as a kid, I had a coach that insisted on collared shirts. Do you see a collared shirt on? No collared shirt here. So something I would do is I would practice in my collared shirt. Eventually I got a regular job that has me wear a collared shirt, so that became something of ease. That and dress pants. That was something very comfortable to wear. Of course, if I get to go to a NFAA tournament like the Vegas shoot, I can go wear this and get away with it, and that is really sweet as well. But just practice for the situation you're going to be putting yourself into. Say you're going to a shoot down in Florida. It's hot and humid in Florida. Well, when you're at home and you have that hot and humid day, don't go inside and sit in the air conditioning. Unless you have a health condition, then you'll have to, talk to your doctor about that. But, go out there and put those arrows in, because it's going to benefit you in the long run. Yes, if you live in, Maine or something, are you going to have the exact same humidity and things as Florida? No, but at least you're like getting some experience towards that, so it's not such a shock when you go from that, 55-degree weather in, I don't know, say May, to, the 70s in Florida in May. So practice, really does make perfect. So that wraps up our top 10 list. If you would, please check out our website. We have a new forum there. It would be really cool to get feedback on that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, happy shooting.